When we come back, we're going to be talking with Hamilton's own Joey Coleman, independent journalist extraordinaire. Welcome back to Our City. I'm your host, Martina Scalenzi. Today, we have the privilege of interviewing Hamilton's own Joey Coleman. So, a few years ago, Joey appeared on the scene armed with a smartphone, a whole lot of information, and a number of us kind of wondered, where did this guy suddenly come from? So we figured we'd ask. So, Joey, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, tell us, who is Joey Coleman?
Well, I'm a native Hamiltonian. Been living in the city for most of my life, with the exception of 1 year that I lived in Winnipeg. I'm a journalist, but really I'm just a nerd who likes being out there, knowing what's going on, and using technology to better connect people and information.
Well, you certainly seem to be connecting people and connecting them with a lot of information. If you go onto Twitter, you're everywhere. You are at every scene. How do you manage to gather so much information?
It's just being a nerd, one, and then two, being part of the community and being from the community. I've lived in most neighborhoods in the city. It's one of the advantages of my childhood is I moved around a lot. So I really got a chance to know a lot of Hamilton, and it's just being out there, knowing people. I'm only as good as my sources, and that's the case with every journalist, and I'm really fortunate that I enjoy such support in the community.
Yeah, well, you do fantastic work. So how did you get into journalism? How did you get interested in this particular field?
To be honest, it was accidental. So when I left the military in 2004, one of the first things I did was went out and registered a website. And I had run my high school network back when I was in high school, so I'd always been very tech-oriented. And there was this new thing called blogging that was just taking off in 2004. And I thought, wow, this blogging programming really looks interesting. So I was more interested in the back end, not the writing, but I had to write in order to have something to work with. And from that, I just started writing. In 2005, I ended up on a student union council at the University of Manitoba, started writing about what I was learning about student politics, student news across the country. By 2007, my website was the leading source for higher education news in the country. And out of the blue one day, on my birthday of all days, I get a call from Maclean's magazine offering me a job there. And at that point, I became a professional journalist. And I absolutely love it. I can't think of a better field. You get to be out there meeting people, learning their stories, learning more about your city. So I spent 3 years at Maclean's, a year and a half at the Globe and Mail. And I decided that my passion was back here in Hamilton. I came back to Hamilton for a 4-month stint at the Hamilton Spectator and realized that this was where I wanted to do journalism. I had a great opportunity when I was at Maclean's. I had the chance to travel the country and the world covering stories, but nothing beats the stories here in Hamilton. I just love being here.
Well, we're richer for having you. So explain now your new direction, because you are now essentially establishing yourself as a completely independent journalist. So tell us a little about that and how you're going about that, and perhaps how we can get involved.
Well, the future of journalism, right now journalism is in flux. The old model is dead, and everybody's trying to figure out what is the new model for journalism. What is not in question at all is that journalism has to be of high quality, it has to be accurate, and I think the biggest change is it has to be raw, it has to be unfiltered. You need to let people see what you're seeing, and that's the next phase for me. Is I've covered city council meetings for the last 2 years. I attended my first city council meeting in 1995. I'm a political junkie and a news junkie. And so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to raise funds to buy equipment so that I can live stream every committee, every subcommittee meeting of City Council, and be live anywhere in the city at any time. When news happens, I'm already there, but I can't fully bring it to people. I'm still filtering through my Twitter account. The next phase for journalism is local journalists that are supported by their community, that support their community, and it's crowdfunding. The old days of the giant conglomerate are dying, and I think it needs to be replaced by grassroots, community-level journalism, people who are from their communities, passionate about their communities, and really want to inform their fellow citizens.
So very much what you're doing yourself. So give us very quickly, because we're just about out of time, give us how do we get in touch with Joey Coleman? What's your website and how do we find you on Twitter?
joeycoleman.ca. I believe my name is scrolling underneath right now. And if you go to my site, there's a support button where you can support. It's as simple as signing up for the newsletter that I put out every morning. So every day at 8 a.m., you'll get a summary of all the news that's happening in Hamilton. More importantly, you'll get what news is about to happen and how you can get involved. Excellent. And there's also an Indiegogo campaign. I'm trying to raise $10,000, so you can make a small donation there as well. The idea being is a lot of people helping out in a small way, we can build Hamilton's first independent news outlet. And then also, this is a Canadian first. No other journalist in Canada is going live, online, streamed, unfiltered right now. This will be revolutionary.
There's no doubt you are a pioneer in your own right. Joey, thanks so much for joining.